Are you feeling stiff through your hips, your low back, your legs, and you know you just need a quick stretch to kind of give that area of your body a little love? Well, today's class is just for you. Hey friends, it's Kate here. Thanks so much for joining me today. Now I've got a 10-minute, all seated, mostly all on our back actually, yoga class that's really all about our hips, our lower back, and our legs. This is a wonderful class to kind of start your day. Oftentimes I feel really tight in my lower body. We don't need any props whatsoever, but if you know you have a little bit of a limited range of motion, you might want to have a yoga strap nearby. Go ahead, roll out your mat. Let's get started. We'll start lying on our back. Relax down. Take your hands wherever feels good. Maybe close the eyes. I'm going to have my feet a little wider than my hips if that feels less than pleasant for you. You can take them to hip distance. Take a deep inhale through the nose. Easy sigh out the mouth. Again, big inhale. Let it go. One more time. And release. Seal your lips together, breathe through the nose, and we'll begin a few spinal or pelvic tips. I want you to push the low of the back down into the mat and then lightly arch it away. So I'm just pushing my sacrum, that big bony plate at the base of my spine, kind of down, and then allowing myself to arch away. If you put a little grape behind the small of your back where that natural curve would be at the lower portion, it's almost like you're squishing the grape and then letting it go. Squish and let it go. Once or twice more, just lightly waking up the lower back, the hips, and then soften and stop with your back, just finishing wherever feels most natural. We don't have to be in an imprint or a neutral spine, whatever feels good for you. From here, simply sway your knees right and left, a little windshield wiper. And you might get a few little pops in your lower back. I very often do when I do some gentle windshield wipers like that. Coming back to center, pause. Heel toe your feet closer towards one another. Let your toes actually touch. And if we can, allow your knees to fall open. If that's feeling uncomfortable, you could always put a block or two underneath the knees to lift them up, giving them more support. But if we can, let's just allow our knees to fall open and explore a little bit of a stretch through our inner thighs. Take a big inhale. Big breath out. Another big inhale. Big breath out. One more. Let it go. Seal your lips. Breathe through the nose. And then bring your knees back up so they're pointing to the ceiling. Feet are now in line with your sitting bones. Eyes can stay closed, so you can flutter them open. Do imprint the spine. Push your low back down into the mat. Feel your shoulders connect to the ground too. And let's do a few rounds of bridge, lifting up into a little bridge and rolling down. Now this does not have to be the deepest bridge you've ever done. It's more about waving through the spine. If someone came up to you and pressed down from the sternum, that's where we want to start that lovely little bridge. When I roll down, it's from my sternum first, and each vertebra follows. And on the way up, I tuck my tail and lift one vertebra at a time up. Once or twice more, just like that. And now this next time, lift the hips up and pause. Make space between chin and chest. This might feel kind of funky, but I want you to drop your right hip lower than your left, so we're a little bit wonky. Now still, from the sternum, start to roll yourself down, but because our hips are uneven, our right hip's going to touch first. Our left hip follows. You'll have to scoot your tushy back into the center, rise back up to the top of the bridge, and then same thing other side. Drop the left hip, pause, and then from your sternum, roll one vertebra at a time. hip touches, opposite hip falls behind, and return center. Go ahead and do that a few more times on your own breath. Now it might feel really pleasant to stay in pause in one spot. I often get a little bit of a stretch through my lumbar spine, the lower portion of my back, especially once my hip kind of touches the floor. I might pause there for a second and really enjoy that little stretch there. Coming back to center and pause. From here, let's cross our right ankle over our left knee. So we're in a small figure 4. And take a little twist again, a little windshield wiper holding your figure 4. Now the next time that you lean over to the left, go ahead and drop as far as you can to the left. In fact, my right foot touches. If yours doesn't, that's okay. Just in a nice little twist here. You might point your nose towards your right hand to deepen the twist. Take a big inhale. Big breath out. Return center. Before we do our second side, go ahead and bring your legs up into your chest. Now I like to hug behind both of my thighs. So I'm keeping that nice figure 4 there. As much as I can, I'm trying to keep both knees almost even with one another. If yours is a little less externally rotated, that's okay. Everybody looks different. And I try to keep a 90-degree bend in my left knee. I'm not dropping the heel down towards my tushy. I'm actually flexing it. And it's like I'm trying to pull my left knee towards my left shoulder so I can get a deeper stretch. And I feel that really deep in my tushy, kind of in my piriformis area. If you've got some sciatic pain, this can be a really nice stretch to get into that area to relieve some of that pain, some of that tension. Now often from here, I'll thread both hands underneath my left thigh, and a few times I might straighten and bend my left leg. Now if you can't fully straighten, of course, that's okay. Remember, we're all different. Eventually, let that go. Unravel both legs. Take your hands off to a T and cross your left ankle over your right. And begin your little windshield wiper right here. Giving the spine a little love, a little twist, maybe waking up our hips a tad bit more. And then when you're ready, taking your twist a little deeper, allowing your legs to flop over to the right. We can keep our nose pointing to the sky or point it to your left hand to deepen your twist. You know, especially in a twist, I find it's easy to hold your breath. So I invite you to really exhale and relax the body to soften the muscles. This is one of my favorite twists, both for my back and hips. If you want to stay a little longer, you can, but as you're ready, roll to your back, keep your figure 4, and then pick up your leg. Once more, I'm going to hug behind both of my thighs at first, flexing the foot, and just gently bringing both legs a little closer towards my sternum. As much as you can, keep your entire back connected to the mat. It's easy to kind of tuck your tail here and start to lift the booty up, almost like you're going for kind of a bridge. But we get a deeper stretch if we keep our spine straight. Now maybe you want to stay right here, or you can thread your left hand behind the right thigh and a few times straighten and bend the leg. That might feel really nice just to hang out right there. And then eventually from here, unravel. Bring both knees into your chest. I want you to separate the knees and almost pull them up towards your ribs, your armpits, just finding a little bit of movement there. And let's circle the knees around. 3, 2, 1. Opposite direction. 3, 2, 1. Hold onto your right shin, pull it closer towards your chest or maybe the outside of your ribs, and straighten your left leg down the mat. If there's a bend in the knee, if you want to plant the foot on the floor, that is perfectly fine. I like to hug my shin a little closer and actively reach my opposite toe further away. Take a nice big inhale. Big breath out. Now do place your left foot firmly on the floor if it's not already. Extend your left leg to the sky, give it a flex, and if we can, hug behind the leg and give it a little extra tug closer to the body. This doesn't have to be the deepest stretch. You could really yank it if you wanted to, closer if you want that deep stretch. But right now, I'm focusing on keeping the leg long, actively flexing the foot. If it feels better to point your toe, of course we can do that, but I find a deeper hamstring stretch with that nice big flex. Take a big inhale. And now again, pull both knees into your chest. Little hug, a little squeeze. If it feels nice to immediately take some of those circles, that always feels good in my hips. Go for it. And then once more, hug now your left shin. Extend the right leg away and just enjoy that great big stretch. When you're ready, plant your right foot onto the floor, extend the left leg up, maybe give it a flex, and again, if we've got the range of motion, we'll hold the back of the leg wherever feels best. I usually hold above or below the knee, not the knee joint itself. And again, actively flexing the foot. If you'd rather point your toe, of course, go for it. And then once more, both knees into your chest. If we want one little happy baby, you can hold the outside edge of your pinky toes. You could hold behind the thighs if that's more accessible. Some people also like to reach for your big toe. There's really not a right or wrong, whatever feels most accessible in your body. When I'm doing a happy baby, I'm really thinking about shoulders staying connected to the ground. So if I'm having to curl up here, it's probably better to hold the back of your thighs so you can still relax your chest. One more big, deep inhale. Big breath out. And allow your legs to fall to the ground. If you'd rather straighten them or keep them bent, that's A-okay, whatever feels best for you, but simply close your eyes, full big inhale, big sigh out. Another big inhale, big breath out. As you feel ready, roll to your side, push yourself up to a seat. As always, my friends, give yourself a pat on the back. Thank yourself for doing something so good and just for you. I certainly hope you enjoy this quick lower body stretch. If you need 10 minutes to work on your upper body, I'll go ahead and link to a video somewhere up there for you to find. Have a great rest of your day. Can't wait to see you again.